Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Joshua Bridwell Show. This is the podcast where I talk about your personal, professional, and spiritual growth, and where we talk about your stories to help you go from stuck to growth. As always, I am your host, Joshua Bridwell, and today I want to talk to you about 3 major character traits that I think are going to help you in your growth journey. You know what? I don't think that they will. I know that these 3 are going to help you out. And I'm talking about self-control, self-awareness, and resilience. These are important because they're not just skills for personal growth, but they're also going to help you succeed professionally. They're going to help you to build better and deeper relationships, and they are also going to help you find a deeper sense of purpose. Some of you might think as you go through my list of episodes that I just come up with whatever it is that I want to talk about over the course of a week. Some weeks, sure, but most of the time I am doing deep research to find out what it is that you, the viewers, you, the listeners, are wanting to hear. And when we're thinking about 2025, some of the most searched questions on the internet are surrounding personal and professional development and how to feel a sense of belonging and a sense of purpose. And so this episode is going to be hitting all of that for you. If you're somebody that has searched for that, congratulations. You have found a really great place to be. If you haven't Googled that question or searched that question online, then hey, you're in for an awesome ride too. Because, like I said, these aren't just skills for personal growth. They bleed into all sorts of different areas of your life. And it's really important to know that when it comes to self-control, self-awareness, and when it comes to resilience, that these are not easy skills to master. It takes time. It takes time, it takes effort, and it takes willingness to reflect and to grow. But let me tell you, from personal experience, at the end of all of that, it's worth it. And there are some episodes that I have put out there that are really research heavy, and I know that that's not for everybody. I want you to walk away from this episode knowing what self-control, self-awareness, and resilience are, why they are important, but also this episode is going to be giving you practical steps to grow in each of these areas. And so if you have a notebook or if you take notes on your phone, I highly encourage you to get those out. I want you to get comfortable because we're going to go ahead and dive right into self-control. Self-control is a foundation for success. You can think of self-control as being the foundation of a house. Without a firm foundation, your goals, your relationships, your career is extremely shaky. It's in a really dangerous place, so we've got to be really careful about that. I want to put it this way. Self-control is the ability to manage your impulses, your emotions, and your behaviors so that they are in line with your long-term goals. Today, more than ever, we live in a world of instant gratification. We want something, we get something. There's a major shopping platform out there where you can order something and then it might even beat you home. During this time, self-control is harder than it has ever been. Think about this. We are constantly surrounded by distractions, whether that is social media, whether that's streaming platforms, whether that is by fast food, you name it. We're surrounded by distractions. And so I want to introduce to you a study from the Journal of Consumer Research. It found that the constant availability of quick rewards actually weakens our ability to delay gratification over time. It's like a muscle that gets weaker the less that we use it. This is really important to know because self-control is not just about saying no to things that we know we should, to temptations. It's also about saying yes to the things that truly matter towards you in your life. It It's what allows you to wake up early to go and work out, to stick to a budget, or to focus on your goals when a streaming service or social media is calling your name. And believe me, it can call your name really loud sometimes. And so when it comes to building self-control, there are 4 practical steps that I want to introduce to you. I want you to think about self-control as being like a GPS. Without a clear destination, you're just going to end up wherever you end up. And that's not the most constructive way to get to where you're going. Instead of telling yourself, I want to get healthier, I want you to say, I'll exercise 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. I want you to give yourself specific goals because that's going to give your brain something concrete to focus on, to hone in on, and to go after. So the very first practical step is for you to set clear goals. The second step is for you to create a reward system for yourself. This is a very overlooked piece of self-control and is why a lot of people do not succeed at self-control. According to research in psychological science, rewarding yourself for self-discipline helps reinforce good habits. For example, if you avoid unnecessary spending all week, treat yourself to something small, but something that is meaningful for you. The third practical step is for you to use the 10-minute rule. This is something that was new to me until I was doing research for you. But the 10-minute rule is when you feel the urge to give in to temptation, I want you to wait 10 minutes. The simple delay often helps the impulse pass. So for example, if you see something at the store and you go, man, that's really cool. I think I want that. Walk away from it. And then before you get ready to leave the store, ask yourself, okay, is this something that I really want, or is it something I wanted just because I saw it in the store? Once again, this delay can often help the temptation pass, making self-control easier for you. And it allows you to make a more educated, rational decision. And then number 4, we've talked about this a lot, but when it comes to self-control, it's important for you to have an accountability partner. An accountability partner is somebody that knows about your goals. It's somebody that can check in on you, that can cheer you on when you're tempted to deviate from your path entirely. So the 4 practical steps are to set clear goals, create a reward system, use the 10-minute rule, and get an accountability partner. A friend of mine, not too long ago, wanted to lose some weight. He loved junk food a lot. He still does. But he started using an app to track his meals, and every time that he felt tempted to grab the chips, grab the chocolate bar, he'd wait 10 minutes. He would make himself drink a glass of water, and he'd ask himself, is this helping me to reach my goal? This simple habit has helped him to lose 10 pounds in 3 months. Slow and steady wins the race, and it's really important for you to have questions that you ask yourself. This is something that I have introduced myself to going into 2025 towards my habits and my goals. I have 4 questions that I ask myself, and these are personal to me on my journey, but one of them is this action that I'm about to take, is this 5-second action I'm about to take going to save me 5 minutes later? And is this decision that I'm making for myself right now ultimately something that my future self is going to thank me for? And it's really important for you to focus on self-control, develop self-control, but also ask yourself questions. That's a really healthy thing. So I want you to ask yourself this. What's one area in your life where today you can exercise and practice the most self-control? Start small, and I want you to watch how it's going to snowball across many different areas of your life. Self-control is very important, and so is self-awareness. Self-awareness is the key to understanding yourself. It's also the key to understanding other people. So self-control, if self-control is the foundation, self-awareness is the blueprint. It's about knowing who you are, what you feel, and how the actions that you perform affect those that are around you. According to Dr. Tasha Eurich, she's an organizational psychologist. She also wrote a book called Insight. Self-awareness is the meta skill of the 21st century. So what does that mean? In her research, she found that people who are self-aware are not only more confident, but are also more successful in their personal and professional lives. Self-awareness helps you to understand your strengths, weaknesses, emotional trigger. Before you can become self-aware, you first have to accept humility. You have to understand that you are somebody that does have weaknesses. You do have emotional triggers. Self-awareness also makes you more empathetic towards other people. I think that is a skill that is severely lacking in society today. It is a superpower in today's world if you possess empathy. When you're self-aware, you can also communicate better, you're less reactive to everything going on around you, and you're more intentional about your actions. You are more proactive than you are reactive. And just like with self-control, I'm going to give you 4 practical steps to building self-awareness. The first practical step for you to build self-awareness is to get a journal. I highly encourage you to get a physical journal. You might be somebody that likes to take notes on your phone. You're more than welcome to do that. But I believe there is a much stronger connection when you journal with a pen to paper. Your brain is more likely to process things and remember things when they are physically written down as opposed to typed. When it comes to journaling, I want you to write down your thoughts and emotions every day, once a week, once every 2 weeks. And I want you to ask yourself questions like what made me proud today, and what frustrated me today, and why. The second practical step is I want you to seek feedback. This one's really tough because it can hurt, but it is extremely important. I want you to ask an accountability partner or somebody that you just trust and ask them, what's one thing that I can do better? And I want you to really listen to the response. I don't want you to sit there and try to get defensive. I want you to sit in the question, what's one thing that I can do better? Take that to heart. The third practical step is meditation. People have the wrong idea when it comes to meditation. Meditation is not just about relaxation. In fact, if you use meditation exclusively for relaxation, you're doing it wrong. Because meditation is about tuning into your thoughts, into your feelings, without judgment. We can often be the hardest judges on ourselves. Meditation is about sitting in those thoughts and those feelings without judgment. There are some apps such as Headspace or Calm. Neither of those are paid sponsors, but they are highly recommended applications that can help you get started whenever it comes to meditating. And the fourth thing that's going to help you with self-awareness is personality tests. Some of you are listening to me talk about personality tests and saying, oh, he's one of those people that believes in personality tests through and through. I believe that there is some truth to personality tests. I do not believe that they can tell you every single thing about you. It's an algorithm that produces a result, but we are living, breathing human beings with our own set of emotions, own set of personality quirks. And I think personality tests are a really good starting place for us to understand ourselves, but they are not the be all end all. There are tools as far as personality tests go, like the Myers-Briggs type and the Clifton Strengths. These can provide valuable insights into how you think and how you operate. Another one that I really like is the Enneagram test. So go play around with those, have fun. There are free versions of all of those online that you can take in order to just get to know a little bit about yourself. Make it fun, make it a game, and then use what it is that you learn. I once worked with somebody who would say a lot of the right things, but he had no idea with how his tone came across in meetings, and that was a huge problem. This person thought that he was being really direct, but others felt that he was being really dismissive of their thoughts and ideas. When this person got feedback, they started making small adjustments. Again, requires humility to lean into something like that. They started making small adjustments, and these included softening the tone, being aware of how they sounded, and they started to ask this shocked me, but they started to ask for input more often, and the change was dramatic. Their relationships, their work ethic, everything improved really dramatically. When it comes to self-awareness, it requires being able to lean into hard, uncomfortable conversations. And sometimes those hard, uncomfortable conversations are from ourselves to ourselves. I want you to go get yourself a journal, and then I'm going to give you your first journal prompt. I want you to think about this. I want you to take 5 minutes to reflect on your day and ask yourself what went well, what didn't, and what can you learn from it. Sometimes when we hear something really hard, or if we are working really hard and we come across challenges, it can be really discouraging. That is where resilience comes into play. Resilience is the ability to bounce back. When you can bounce back effectively and in a healthy way, you can become unstoppable. This one is really close to my heart. You've listened to a few previous episodes where we've talked about resilience. I think it's interesting that the two conversations that I've had with doctors, one of them was Dr. Alan Shu, and the other one was Dr. Sarah Alsawi Davies, who both spoke directly about resilience. And so it's important for our personal and professional development, because life is going to throw us curveballs. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. That could be a job loss, that could be a failed relationship, that could be a tough season. Somebody has to go to the doctor and it drains our savings. Resilience is what helps you to get back up, dust the dirt off, and keep on moving. Research from the American Psychological Association showed that resilience isn't just about bouncing back, it's about adapting, growing, and sometimes even thriving in the face of adversity. That can be really hard for some of us to imagine. Hey, that sounds really good on paper. We know what resilience is, we know why it's important, but I could never be that person. Well, let me tell you 4 practical steps for you to develop resilience. The first is I want you to reframe challenges. When your head isn't processing something correctly, you have already lost. Instead of asking yourself, man, why is this hard thing happening to me? Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? I want you to focus on what it is that you can learn from something. Don't treat it like a jail sentence. The second thing is I want you to focus on what you can control. We get burned out, we get tired, we get frustrated when we focus way too much energy on the things that we cannot control. You can't control everything, but there are 3 things that you can control. Some might argue more, some might argue less, but there are 3 things that I'm going to tell you that you can control. Number 1 is your attitude. Number 2 is your effort. And number 3 is your response. So I want you to focus on controlling your attitude, your effort, and your responses. The third thing I want you to do, and you can do this in that journal, is I want you to practice gratitude. So I'm going to introduce another study to you from the Greater Good Science Center. It shows that gratitude improves mental health and resilience. So I want you to take a moment today. You can do that in the car if you're listening to this in the car, or if you're in a spot where you can stop. I want you to take just a minute, 2 minutes, and to list 3 things that you're grateful for today. And the fourth thing that I want you to do is, in order to develop resilience, is I want you to lean on your support system. Sometimes we are our own worst enemies. So we need a healthy support system that we can lean on and we can ask for help from. And that can be family, friends, mentor, coworkers, colleagues. Having a really strong network is going to make a huge difference. Something that I really love from a previous episode was when I was talking with David Jones. And he mentioned the importance of having a healthy community before the storm hits. I want you to focus on making sure that you have a healthy support system that's going to be there when you need them. I want to share one more story from you, or one more story with you. And it's about J.K. Rowling. And for those that don't know, J.K. Rowling is the author of the Harry Potter series. And before she became the big name that she is today in the writing world, she was a single mother on welfare. And she was rejected by a lot of publishers. They didn't see value in her work. But she kept going. She leaned on her support system. And today, she is one of the most successful authors in history. That is resilience in action. Sometimes we are told no. For example, the position that I'm in for the company that I work for, I was told no 5 different times before I finally stepped into a particular role. It can be discouraging when we hear no. But we have to be able to get up, put in the work, put in the effort, and keep moving forward. And eventually, our efforts will pay off. So to quickly wrap up, today we talked about self-control, we talked about self-awareness, and we talked about resilience. I chose these 3 because they are really powerful. They can change your life if you are willing to put in the work. These only work if you do. Remember, they're like muscles. They get weaker the less that you use them. They get stronger the more that you use them. So I want to encourage you to use them in really helpful ways. Self-control helps you to stay focused. Self-awareness helps you to understand yourself and others. And resilience helps you to keep going when things get tough. I want you to pick just one of these traits. And I want you to focus on them this week. Just one. I don't want you to try to change everything all at once. If you do, it gets really overwhelming. Nothing sticks. You get frustrated. You give up on them. I want you to pick just one to focus on this week. Start small. Stay consistent. Reward yourself. And I want you to see what happens. Also, if you have found this episode helpful, I really want you to share it with somebody that you think would enjoy this episode. We are trying to grow, and we have seen really great progress so far, and I'm grateful for everybody that has tuned in from the beginning. If you're somebody that is just now tuning in, welcome to the family. We are super excited that you're here. And please don't forget to subscribe and download, share, help us to reach more people in order to help us grow and to keep the impact going. So this has been another episode of the Joshua Bridwell Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tune in next time. Let's grow.